Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rowdy Player One channel. I am Rowdy. Today, love is in the air. Love is always such a delicate thing. It could come from falling in love at first sight, it could come from enemies to lovers. There's all kinds of things that could go on. But today, we are going to go over my top five favorite love stories in books. And I've got a very dynamic genre, I guess you'd say, on different ways that people have fallen in love and have made a great story about it. So we have got fantasy, sci fi, horror, western, everything. Time travel, we've got it all. So without further ado, this is in no particular order. None of these are better than the others, in my opinion. I think they're all great, and it's wonderful to be in love and to go on an adventure together. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, very first one I'm going to go with is going to be Jack and Sadie from 11/22/63. Now, this is one of my favorite books of all time. I don't even have the book because I was so happy about it. I loaned it to my sister, and she's in the process of reading it. But this right here story, we've got time travel in the midst of trying to stop the JFK assassination. And this man, Jack, somehow is able to fall in love with a librarian. It's the craziest things. Like, how is that possible? When you're starting in like the 90s or 2000s, whatever, and you go back into the late 50s and have a relationship into the early 60s, it's it's something else. The way people were courted back then, as they would say, it's times were a whole lot simpler, and this story was fantastic. A little reluctant. I don't think he really wanted to in the beginning to start a relationship, and I don't think she did neither. But in the end, true love always comes through. But Jack and Sadie are are two of my favorites. Let's go up next. How about we go with Vin and Ellen from the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. These two right here are talking about polar opposites. You've got Vin, who's basically kind of from the slums, if you'd say, in a ragtag group of people, not the best. And then you've got Ellen, a noble, someone way up, prestige, if you'd say. These are kind of like an enemies to lovers love story in a way, not, just two different dynamics, but they pull together, fall in love, get married, and there's a common goal in the whole thing is no matter what, you love one another, even with their faults. There's always a way. This right here is a great love story in the midst of all the magic and the magic system that Sanderson does and everything else. It's a fantastic story, and their love is very nice. All right. Next, we'll go with how about Gus McCrae and Lauren Wood from Lonesome Dove. These two right here. Now, I liked the book and I thought it was good, but it wasn't the best thing in the world. But these two surprised me a lot because it's not a, love forever. It's a, he basically wanted her for one thing, if you understand what I'm talking about. But she was head over heels in love with him. But even whenever it was almost like he played hard to get in a way, but in the end, he would do anything for her. Didn't want anything to happen to her bad. Was always there to protect her, and I thought it was great. Like, if things would have been different, I think they would have been married and life would have went their way, because she needed him and he needed her in certain situations, and not just in that situation, but in others. But very, very good love story in that. And yes, in a way, it's not the full, her and, oh, what's his, Jake, I think. It wasn't nothing like that where she went with him. No, she, deep down, she wanted Gus. That's for sure. So that's that one. Then we'll go with Red Rising. We're going with Darrow and Mustang. I think their dynamic is definitely heroes to lovers, if you'd say, because Darrow obviously absolutely hates the Golds. Mustang is a Gold, and everything that goes on with their relationship is it, it blew my mind on how they even got together, on just how crazy the circumstances were. But yet, I mean, if you know anything about Red Rising, you know that they are, or he is very much hates the Golds for the purpose of what they did to his wife and what they do to pretty much everybody that's a Red. She is against the way that they treat all the Reds, and they say they get together. Things happen throughout the book and all the other books, so I don't really spoil anything on further since it's a 6-book series, but it's very good, and their bond within all the books that I've read, which has been 5 so far, is something else. Like, they protect each other, they trust each other, and they will do anything they have to for each other. So that's Red Rising, Darrow, and Mustang. And then the last book that I thought would be good to add, which is a horror book that I think has an incredible love story, is Nick and Kate from Dark Bloom by Molly McCobb. These two right here have been through more trauma than you can shake a stick at, I guess you'd say, because Kate comes from the most abusive, tormented past that there is on being in a terrible relationship, and then Nick comes from being in the army, problems with PTSD. He's got mental problems, dealing with trauma with that, and then his significant other leaves him, and then all this stuff breaks out, in the world with the zombies and everything. And these two somehow find each other and literally become the only thing that keeps each other alive. Like, without the other, there's no point in living. And Kate is pretty much the only thing that keeps Nick from not killing everybody because he has no tolerance for anyone. And she always tries to see the good in people, even whenever horrible things have happened to her. It's an incredible love story in the midst of a horror novel, which there's 2 of them. Book 2 just come out like 2 weeks ago, Without a Whisper, and it continues with their love story, and it's gut-wrenching. And just through this, both these books are just incredible, and I would highly recommend reading them. But that is my top 5, I would say my top 5 favorite love stories in fantasy, horror, Western, sci-fi. It's kind of got a genre blend of it all. They're my favorites. I really enjoyed them. There's something about a love story whenever things just click and everything works. It's just fantastic. But that's all I've got. Let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite love story in any genre that you have that comes to mind. And if you enjoy this, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. And other than that, that's all I've got. Y'all have a great day, and God bless. Bye.